It's February 13th, 2025. Today I was in Carrollton in Virginia's restaurant. There was a couple in there and I went to leave. They said they all let us all listen to Karen's will today to find out what was going on. It was a drug cartel doing this. Do you realize how crooked that agent is above her case? They had a tape of him telling people he knew she was being drug beaten, raped, and didn't care. He's actually that crooked. He don't care about people being raped or drugged. Oh, Agent John, you didn't think they didn't tape you? These people have admitted they set you up to could be arrested for this. Huh? That was what was so funny. I didn't know what was going on. They were exposing corrupt law enforcement in this area, and they set you up to be arrested. Ask Officer John or Officer Mark. They documented it. They were after you. So, going back to what they said, he didn't care what happened to anybody that happened here, long as he made money or he could steal from any of this. He's that crooked. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. He's that crooked. Okay? You got to think I called the hotline and he went up and told on me before he talked to me. It's documented and verified by the police. October, November 22 in Trinity Gospel on a Sunday. That is documented and verified. The agent that returned my phone call from the FBI hotline was the one telling those churches before he talked to me. Officer John, you were up there. I heard you outside where I was working, talking to someone. She calls me little and wiry. You know that means badass, sweetie, right? You're a smaller white guy with black hair and glasses. Oh, I seen you at that church that night. Matter of fact, I thought you were the agent that told on me because you were a new face there. And the way Pamela was screaming, I thought you were the FBI agent. See, I've never met Agent John. And people called you Officer John around me. Okay? I thought you were him. Because I went and sat down and Dave said he told Danny he talked to him. Talked to him when I walked off. Dave met him. Seen by the police. There was a lot more than Officer John up there. There was police in uniform and everything. And he confessed on a recorded line. That he met with all those church people and even knew they were trying to kill me for strangers like conspiracy to commit murder is a federal crime. And why didn't you arrest him? They're trying to kill somebody, my God. Why didn't you arrest him? No, you laughed at me. You laughed at me because they were trying to kill me. You're aiding and abetting attempted murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Federal crimes. Then you bully me into false statements. That's battery. That is a federal crime. On a recorded line. Then you made fun of me for some guy named Pete. Do you know who Pete is, Agent John? Do you know he's part of the Florida drug cartel? You know that, right? Who was in my home before? It was a Florida drug cartel. So where Dave told Danny he hired Pete on his own, and it was Pete and his men in my home before. Well, who is Pete? Where is your reliable source? Where I lived on John Thomas Road, 4 or 5 houses down there's an older white guy with white hair, drove a silver car. He showed up in last of 21, beginning of 22, walked into McDonald's screaming, I'm tired of this. Her ex-husband showed up in a store in Ravenna, screamed out, I don't want my wife anymore. And asked everyone in that store to help get rid of her. And it was the people in the store of Ravenna doing it to her before. Some of them hadn't worked in a while, and that's why they were willing to hurt her. To make money off of it. Well, who's Pete? Pete's Florida drug cartel. So your reliable source is a drug dealer. Dave hired on his own to drug me up for fake confessions and Photoshop washing. That's your reliable source. Hmm? Made fun of me for some guy named Pete, how he's framing me. I've never met him. My rapist. He's talking about, like they said, Dave hired a serial rapist, a drug dealer. So, you're talking about the man that was drugging me up, slipping stuff in my drinks when I was out of the room, stabbing me with date rape drugs, beating, raping me until my private area is so swollen it's turned out. Seen by the doctor and verified how swollen I was there. And infected. The man that was human trafficking me. That's your reliable source. The one that Dave hired on his own. Where these people tried to frame Danny and Jen. And I'm telling you, if Danny and Jen, they even told Carl, my boyfriend, they didn't know. Jen told him. She didn't know about button cameras. She didn't know about a shower scene in the other room to make me look weird. She knew I had bruises, throwing up, and almost passing out. But she did not know a drug dealer was drugging me up and telling me to say weirdo stuff and beating me. Let alone she didn't know they were raping me. She don't know that part. And I was seen for the doctor for all the injuries of being drug, beaten, raped, and never seen her talk to anybody. So, who was in my home before Agent John? The Florida Drug Cartel. Your reliable source was a rapist running a scam. If you listen to Sheriff Grady, or actually, in Florida, the Florida drug cartels run scams on people so the law enforcement won't help them. In time the law enforcement finds out they're being scammed, the victims are too scared to let law enforcement help them. And they have to go in and physically save them. Shame on law enforcement. Shame on you. The ones that fall for shit like that from drug dealers. Because the law in the Constitution is set up so you can't be scammed by drug dealers or shysters. Someone trying to pull a fast one. Okay. What is the Fourth Amendment? The right of the people to be safe and secure within your own person. No one can touch you unless you want them to. Your places, your homes, your paper and effects against all unreasonable searches or seizures shall not be violated. Your home can't be violated. Where the Stark County Prosecutor's Office, they made the biggest mistake. They did it in your home. It's a right to privacy. No searches, no seizures, but upon probable cause. Warranted. You have to have a court order. Of the people, places, or things to be searched and seized. So, Dave hired a Florida drug dealer. A human trafficker, a rapist. Like they said, he hired a serial rapist. Where's his court order? That's why when I went to the Portage County Sheriff's, Miss Hall, it was none of our officers in your home before, nor did we have any knowledge of it. And what these people are saying they did is illegal. We weren't in your home or anybody else's home outside a protective light case with statements. You have to have a court order too, honey. Just like Officer Reinhardt in Louisville. I don't care what they say they got. I don't even care what they say they did. And until that agent agreed to protect you, have statements of threat of life from everyone in that home. He had to have a court order too by federal law. Even the FBI would go to jail for being in your home. So, Agent John, like the people said, do you realize how stupid those agents were, making fun of her for what those people were doing to her, and they didn't arrest them? Oh, that makes them an accessory. So, where you made fun of me for, we could always use Pete's tape of Weird With Yourself, the shower scene in the other room, you do know that Lighthouse Tabernacle and the cartel made a fool of you June 7th, 23. FBI agent John actually fell for this stunt I tasted before. Oh, come on now. That agent actually fell for that. It was only a stunt. You mean John actually fell for it? You mean that FBI agent John actually fell for a stun of tapes before? You're kidding. You mean he actually fell for it? And they scream out your name and title. And they mock you. I have to go to the Stark County Courthouse and get a marriage license for me and my boyfriend. Oh, I'm planning on saying it several times in the courthouse. Freedom of speech, baby. Can you imagine? I thought the FBI would get SWAT teams after they made fun of that Agent John. Everybody that listens to me, everybody that works in the courthouse, say it around the courthouse. Bring public shame to him. People have died and people have been taken. There is a real case where I go into Hurtville, I go into Akron. We all know Karensville stole. We all know it's a nationwide human trafficking scam. The marshals and the sheriffs have been using the case, and they've got thousands, saved hundreds. And he's been obstructing justice and helping the Florida drug cartel get away with killing people. And they're bragging they're getting my money. And Michelle's been bragging that she dates Agent John. So that's really not funny. That he's dating the head of a drug cartel. That's really not funny. And the cartel had been telling people that he was actually in debt to Pete. And he had a problem with prostitutes. That's really not funny. Now, you got to think. Now, that's what they're saying. But I'm telling you flat out, it is not. He cannot withhold money. He is not God. He is not God, judge, and jury. He is a crook and he is a thief. He went where they drugged me up so bad, I couldn't answer the phone when he was calling me back from the hotline. It goes to voicemail. Okay? Got up. I was so drugged up I couldn't even stand up straight. What does he do when he can't get a hold of me? Somebody calls a hotline. People are threatening their life. There been documented police reports of attacks. 3 witnesses in the mall, a church saying they're trying to get him killed, and they don't answer a phone. What the fuck do? You go beat down the door and you find him. They would have found a drugged up rape victim in bed that had been beaten and raped. That's what you would have found. And I should have been taken to a hospital. Like Sheriff David, Mike DeWine's cousin, you should have been put in a safe house. Okay, so, Agent John, why did you go around to the churches? Some lady investigator said you couldn't get a hold of me, so you decided to talk to them instead. That's illegal. You went and told on me for calling the hotline. Third day, I made myself get up, got enough air in my face, called one of my witnesses, agreed to witness, put your number in it, dropped it off in a card, took it down to the mall, went up to Apostolic Church of Barberton. Paul Paymer screaming, my God, I had an FBI agent in my office. He's right there. I walk off, women come up. He said she's being drugged, being raped. He said he didn't care. I'm covered in bruises, lost 18 pounds. Been almost passing out, seen by the doctor for all of that. Bruises, migraine, headaches, throwing up, almost passing out, muscle pain, orange, lemon, and grapefruit sized bruises all over me. And my personal area is so swollen, it's puffed and turned out. There was being sexually abused by the Florida drug cartel under drugs that bad, and I'm blaming the dirty well water. Never seen or talked to anybody. You don't remember with date rape drugs. Nothing. Just like Dar, just like the U.S. Marshals kid, just like my neighbor Mike. It happens. These people are breaking in people's home. I go in and I sit down. When they follow me, he knows she's being drugged, beaten, raped, and he said he didn't care. If she was going to be faking she was sick, the lie to cover up Tim and Katie, a 15-year-old baby lie. And if she was going to be mean to their women, he was going to turn her back over to them. Can you imagine an agent saying that? Do you know they did you? They've been setting you up to be arrested the whole time for being crooked. That's what was so funny. I didn't know what they were doing. The Florida drug cartel wasn't just after Judge Pete in Florida so Michelle could take over. They're after you, Pookie. You know that, right? Ask Officer John and Officer Mark. They taped them saying that. They were exposing corrupt law enforcement in this area publicly, and they set him up to be arrested. They were talking last year in Belden. You wait till that agent finds out. This whole thing was to set him up to go to jail. We found tapes of them saying it. So, Pookie, where you think it's funny aiding and abetting crimes? Stealing from victims like Sheriff David Mike DeWine's cousin. He's so arrogant with you. He's been stealing from cases to the point he's doing it in front of people now, in front of the police, and daring them to do something. And I'll tell you what, Officer John and Officer Mark, you don't feel comfortable arresting him? Go to a U.S. Marshal. They'll have no problem arresting somebody obstructing justice and tampering with witnesses. Do you know if you try to tell a victim, a witness, or informant they can't say anything? It's under the Department of Justice 1729 and 1512. It's badgering. Do you know it's also tampering with a witness? You can never silence them. The only one that can put a gag order on you is a judge during a jury trial. You can tell whoever you want. It's a freedom of speech. Criminal attorney, police, and the Stark County Prosecutor's Office. Oh, and my friend Grant, he lived in another state. He had an FBI agent friend that works in an office out of state. He told him about this shit. He said, if this is what's really going on, there's at least 2 agents stealing in that office. That agent doesn't have enough authority to ask anybody to stay quiet. It is a freedom of speech. And he can't stop the money from coming in. And if she honestly did not get her card with her money in it, there's 2 agents stealing in that office. Because one orders it and the other one signs that she received it. There's 2 stealing. And he can't ask anybody to stay quiet. He is only a higher police officer. Even another federal agent said it. It's a freedom of speech. Criminal attorney, prosecutor's office, police, and another federal agent. So, who do you think you're fooling? You see, then the whole thing is such bullshit. He's up there telling them he knows I'm being drug, beaten, raped, and don't care. He knows they're harming me. Like they said, he knew she was being drugged. He knew they were framing her. He even told them he was going to defraud me for them. Before he talked to me, Dave comes in, let's go, threatens my life, goes for a loaded gun. I put my hand on the console. He beats me all the way home. Next day, I call that agent. I tell him someone told on me, calls me a liar. I tell him about the guy that threatened to knife me. He calls me a liar. I tell him he tried to kidnap me before. And then he starts confessing how he met with that family in his office and all those church people. And he knew they were trying to kill me because the strangers lied. And he didn't arrest him for conspiracy and attempt to murder. He was aiding and abetting it. Helping kill people for a call. Making up shit to kill someone. On a recorded line, he's hung. Like they said, do you realize how stupid those agents were? Making fun of her on a recorded line. Like Officer John, like you said outside my clients, you were there when he told. We weren't the only police officer. And investigators have showed up. We went over there and talked to that church. And he did tell those people he knew she was being drugged, beaten, raped, and didn't care. None of this is funny. Oh, even other lady investigators. We found out that agent knew she was being drugged, beaten, raped, and he was supposed to arrest them the first day, and he didn't. No, he didn't. He's been obstructing justice while he's stealing from cases. Oh, and then you bully me into false statements. Then you confess you were never sick. Well, that's ridiculous. I almost died. Strangest baby lie to cover up Tim and Katie. And then you go back to how you met with that family in your office and all those church people, and you know how they were trying to kill me, and that you didn't blame them for trying to kill me. Remember you said that? Over a 15-year-old baby lie. If you're going to kill somebody, at least have a good reason. Not somebody calling them a baby faker. That's pathetic. I mean, seriously. If somebody was going to kill somebody, at least have a good reason, not somebody calling somebody a faker. 15 years before that, it was a medication error, medical malpractice. And it's documented by Altman family physicians several times over the years, from 2002 to 2004, and still talking about it in 2018 in front of the cops. And then you made fun of me. We could always use Pete's tape of Weird with Yourself, the shower scene in the other room. Do you realize, Officer John and Mark, do you remember when you guys all came up to me, all the officers and the police that worked my case? That agent was so mean to you on the phone because he said he wanted to make sure you were not part of these people defrauding him. That he knew everything was photoshopped and drugged. And it was that mean to you on the phone to make sure you weren't part of these people trying to defraud him. Remember that? He told you guys that? He documented it in 18. Remember? Because there's badgering laws and obstruction of justice. He told the police he was only acting this way to get these people. Where the Hartville police told people not to say anything, that agent told them that. I know that he did. They mentioned it in 18. So, we're like January 5th, 25, the cops yell at the FBI. What is this? Another FBI agent lied to the U.S. Marshals that she was weird with herself? It's a photo. We always knew it was a Photoshop of washing yourself in the shower. That they put that in another room. And they knew they had drugged her and told her to say it before. And what is this? That another FBI agent lied to the U.S. Marshals. Called them out in Walmart 62. Well, let's see, May of 24, Myers, North Main. The police tell a lady, I talked to the police that work her case. They said it's ridiculous for anybody to insult her. She almost died to save children. They always knew the backup plan, that Weird with Yourself, was a photoshopping of washing yourself in the shower. And they put that in another room. And they're stalking tapes. They're considered stalking tapes because they were done by the drug cartel. Okay? Dave hired Pete on his own. He hired a stalker. So, and that they had drugged her and told her to say it before. And it was a backup plan trying to extort money from her or things. So the police aren't stupid. But you're saying you're a stupid agent, John, right? You're a moron. That's why they can make fun of you, like June 7th, 23. Eric, one of the drug dealers, one of the wanted stalkers, November 18th, 22, confessed everything. Do you know they had January 19th? They said that the agent was so corrupt he tried to steal my money. He's actually that corrupt. January to March of 19, they said they paid you off. Let's see. December 2nd, 22, in Alliance, that you stole my money on the first day. October 4th, 23, in Maslin, that you stole the money from Michelle and Lauren. October 6th, 23, in Walmart 62, she's your girlfriend. You stole it for her. In Belden Village in Coles by that Sunday, that you were stealing it, all the case's money for that girl. Let's see, how many times November 20th, 23, that you took a payoff and you stole my money in Walmart 62 again? Let's see, how many times have they said that you stole my money? They yelled it on Forest Grove Drive in Akron. It's that idiot stealing her money. Hartville and Giant Eagle. Last year, this whole thing is Agent John stealing her money. See, like my friend from the prosecutor's office said, there's that guidelines of what they can put in a court order. And it's for risking your life to get them information. And it's only for getting them information. They can't put any gag order on you. They're only hired police officers. And to stop a witness and informant, or a victim from ever saying anything, is tampering with that witness. It's Department of Justice 1512 and 1729. You go to jail for it. It's obstruction justice. Oh yeah. Even an FBI agent said that. You don't have the authority. Huh? Police? Criminal attorney? So where did you think where you had met with that family in your office and all those church people? And you already told them I called the FBI. And you told them you knew I was being drugged, beaten, raped, and you didn't care. And you told them you were going to defraud me. But you thought I dare told somebody that you told on me, and that's why you stole my money. You already told them you were going to defraud me. And you know what's something? She didn't understand what I said. I'm getting lectured by my sister. Are you going to call the FBI on Dave and the churches? It's like, this is crazy. One's already told on me. There's men on the other side of the duplex. Have a copy of my phone or outside mocking me. I'd have to get a prepaid phone and call you at work. What? She didn't understand what I said. I said, never mind, I'm a big girl, I can handle it. I had to tell her in 21 I called the FBI. She didn't understand me. Try to use that excuse. You thought I'd dare tell on you. Everybody goes in the courthouse, mock FBI agent John. Like Lighthouse Tabernacle did June 7th, 23. Make him a public fool that he is. He's a thief. He stole from my case. He opened it to steal. And realized that. And that's why he fed me back to him. He's crooked as hell. They called him a paid-off dirty agent. If he wasn't dirty, he wouldn't have done any of this. And he can't stop my money from coming in. It's court ordered for the rest of my life. And immunity. And he's been putting it in his dirty pocket. And the Florida drug cartel's breaking, they're getting it. And he's aiding and abetting serial killing of women and children and using government funds. That's how not funny he is. And when you stop thinking a crooked cop is stealing from cases, turn him in. That's how you stop him. Officer John Mark, go to the U.S. Marshals. You already have it documented that I was framed by the drug cartel. It was a drug cartel in my home before. So go to them. Have them arrest him. They have him for aiding and abetting all these crimes, obstructing justice, tampering with a witness, and embezzlement of over $380,000 he's putting in his pocket. Come March 1st, he'll get another $5,000. And he will the whole rest of my life. And how many other cases has he stole from? Think about that. He's already told, but I can't say anything. You know, it's forgetting them information. I could have got in Dave's face and said, look, I called the FBI on you. Had my phone there where they had tapped it and said, you dirty scumbag, for trying to kill me, and have him confess he was trying to kill me. And they could have used that in court. Because I got him to confess. All they wanted was the confessions of these crimes. It's not for your silence. It's not blackmail money. And they can't tell you can't say anything. You're a U.S. citizen. You have a freedom of speech. You have a right to privacy. You have a right to remain quiet. A right to an attorney. When you learn your rights, and they cannot withhold protection from you. 14th Amendment. They can't just take your money, but due process of the law. You can't, no man can tell you can't say anything but a judge. And no man can be in your home but protected like cases with statements in a court order. That Florida drug cartel is trying to prove to people they have no rights and they rule this area. And they can hurt and exploit women and children in their home and be hired to do it and run scams on them, and that the law won't stop them. Like Judge Claire Baldwin, my boss's sister, the day they proved to law enforcement they were in my home, they are ordered to arrest them. It's cyber stalking, a felony invasion of privacy. It's a federal crime to be in somebody's home before. It is a federal crime that comes with a 12 to 20 year sentence. That's how serious it was for Dave to hire Pete on his own, the drug cartel, and then to have me harmed in human traffic. He should have got life without parole. And everybody involved. That agent is so busy stealing from the federal government, he don't care. Because he's stealing. And when you realize that's all it is, like they said, this whole thing is Agent John stealing. And that's what's going on.